So for installation, this is the official documentation of the Alembic. Let's go to installation section. So we need to install this Alembic package. Okay, done. Once this package is installed, let's open this in code. Let's go to the VS Code editor. So once you install this Alembic package, the next step is to run this Alembic command. So it will initialize all the files and create some files which are required for the setting up the Alembic directory. So Alembic init, you can give any name. Let's give migrations. So you see now we don't have any directory here, and then once we run this, so once we run this Alembic command, Alembic init command, and it requires a folder name. So now it will generate some mandatory files and the folders. So the migration folder is created here. If we go inside this migration folders, we'll see there are few files. So let's go through each files. There is one folder called versions, so it will contain all the migrations. There are two files. One is env.py and alembic.ini. So for basic, this is the configuration file for the Alembic, and here one important thing is this SQL alchemy URL. So here we have to provide our URL, and in this file env.py we have to import our models so that it can generate models automatically and run the migration. So for that we will require one more package to be installed, which is pymysql. So we will also install this. Okay, we are set now. So let's create one database. Alchemy. Okay, we'll create db. Okay, so this is our database. Let's write our SQL models. So we'll create a folder. We'll create a file called model.py, and we'll import from SQL alchemy, import column. We'll import column for creating the table column for the tables column, and then we'll string for the varchar, and then int, that is integer, and from SQL alchemy.orm dot alchemy.ext dot declarative will import declarative base. This is the base which will contain the metadata for the migration and creation of the tables. So now let's create a base class. We'll create two tables, user base, and we'll use declarative base class users table name is users. We'll create the user database columns, which will be ID. So ID is column. We'll have to mention ID. So this is a column. It will be an integer, and it will be primary key true. Okay, and then we will have username and column, it will be string of this many characters, username and user email, this will also be of the column of string 254 characters. So this is the model we have created, and now let's do one thing. Let's create separate models. We'll not use one file, we'll just rename it to user model. Okay, so now we can import this model in the migrations n.py. So if you see, we can import it here from user model import users base to import this base class in this n.py, and for this we can in target metadata we can mention here. So since we will be using 2 or more models, we can mention here is a model dot meta data, and we have to also modify this URL. So for this we have to see how this URL is constructed in the SQL Alchemy. So SQL my SQL Alchemy URL. So if you see, if you go here in SQL Alchemy, there is described how we can use this URL. So you have to put the dialect, the driver, username, password, host, port, database. So this is the format how we can put our database. In example, if you see here PostgreSQL and the driver, and then username, password, and the database. So for in our case it will be where is MySQL? Yeah, so our package is PyMySQL. Since we have installed PyMySQL package, you can see this. It will be something like PyMySQL, MySQL plus PyMySQL. Oh, root and alchemy db. So now if we have imported our models here. Sorry. So we have imported our models here and we have changed our database. Let me set password for this. Root okay, so we are done. Let's close and open again. SQL Alchemy root 123. So now we can put password here. These are just a quick setup. You cannot do this if you're deploying your project in the production. These are not the reliable way. These are the worst way you can deploy it. You should never do this. I'm just quickly setting it up because you can start making the changes or you start learning fast. You have to see it can be configured in other way, but just since we are just making it a quick installation, we are just putting it here. Okay, so if you click on the documentation, you can see a create migration document script. You see create revision. The command is Alembic revision -m, and you can put the message. So the command is Alembic. You're creating a revision, and so Alembic command, and then you are creating a revision, and then what is the message? So creating users table. So this is the message. There is one more important thing. So once you run this, it will create the migration. So earlier when we saw this folder was empty. Now you see it has created the migration. It has created the migration. See, these functions are empty. There are two functions, upgrade and the downgrade. So upgrade will have the functionality to create the tables, and downgrade will have the functionality to roll it back. So now you see you have to write you see these are empty, so manually you can write it, but that's not the advantage of the Alembic. If we have to write it here and we have written it here, so we have to write twice. So we don't have to do that. We can use a command. Okay, so on documentation you can see this section called auto generating the migration, and here this is the argument. If you see Alembic revision, there is an argument passed called auto generate. If you add this argument, it will generate the related columns and the commands to create and roll back the table. So let's add this. We'll delete this because it's just a migration file and it's not ran yet. Let's delete this. Delete. Okay, so now it is empty. We'll run this command again. Alembic revision -auto generate auto. So we got some error. Let's see what it is. We have not passed this base class. So let's try to run this generate. Invalid literal for int with base 10. Okay. Okay, root password, and then so there are mistakes in our URL at the rate localhost. Okay, let's try to run this. So the migration, you see, it has successfully created this migration file. If we go into versions, so last time we saw that there are no codes available in this upgrade and the downgrade function, but if you see now we have this code for upgrading and downgrading the tables. It says like command auto generated by Alembic, and here the same columns which you have in this model, ID, username and user email. ID, username, user email, and ID as a primary key. So once this is created, once that is created, you will see it generates a table Alembic version to store the version numbers here. Whenever a revision is updated, the version number will be updated here. Now the next command which we need to run, Alembic upgrade to create the tables, upgrade head. Here head is the latest file. So if you see, this is the current file, so this is denoted as the head, the number 94. So this is the number which is denoted as the head. So once you click it, it will migrate and create the table in the database. If you check, so the version number is updated. And the users table is created here. So see ID, user, username and email. Now let's create another model. User model. Now let's create contents model. So the code goes the same. You just import from SQL Alchemy. Import. You need to import the column. Import the properties of the column, such as so let's import this in env.py from contents model, import base. I can use this base here. Data. So now we are set. Now we can again run this users table. Now we will just change contents table creation. So you see contents table again, this is created, and let's upgrade. So Alembic upgrade head, and it will create a table here. Let's refresh. So now you see the contents table is created. So now there are three tables already created. One Alembic, which is storing the revisions, the latest revision. Earlier there was a different revision. It was containing this D7 at the end, but you see 6.1. Now the latest one is contents table, and the two tables stored here, created here, contents and user. So this is how we use Alembic to create the tables. And if you want to revert -1, so to remove the tables, you can see now we don't have the contents table, so we just ran Alembic downgrade -1 and it's removed, downgraded one migration like from the top, and it was the contents table. And so this is how the downgrade works, and it removes the table here. This is how this Alembic works. Thank you for watching. Hope this helps.